we're ready to style and define Miss Marla's hair, her beautiful curls. So first what we're going to do, we're going to section the hair into 2 sections. Only because she has so much of it, so it's just easier to work with sections. And I have these handy dandy duck clips. I'm going to go ahead and apply the leave-in moisturizer. With thick curly hair, you can never use too much. Alright. And you're using the same smoothing motion as you did when you were cleansing and conditioning the hair. Make sure you get the ends especially, because that's usually the driest part, because that's the oldest part of the hair. So make sure you get moisturizer in that part. The key is to make sure every strand gets coated with product. So smooth, smooth, smooth. We're going to go ahead and flip this part up. Let that moisture get soaked in. We're going to go ahead and add moisture on the other side. Smooth, smooth, smooth. Make sure every strand gets coated. This is the key to achieving frizz-free, super defined curls. And you notice we didn't use any combs or brushes, and look how our fingers just glide through. Now there's 2 ways that you can apply product depending on how much curl definition you want. You can either apply your curl defining product to small sections, like so, maybe like small 1 to 1.5 section hair, or if you want definition but want some volume, then I would suggest either applying the curl defining product to the total half of the head, or do it in 4 parts. So you have 1 section here that you apply the product and 1 section here. I'm going to do it in 3 sections instead of the 2. So I'll do the first section. This is a pretty big section. It's about, I don't know, about 3.5 inches. Pin the rest of this up.
But this has to be like set and go kind of thing.
Yes.
So this has to be done in the morning before you go to school.
Yes. Or she can do the conditioning wash at night, maybe sleep with a plastic cap, and then in the morning do the curl defining process, the styling. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and smooth it in, and we really just get it in the hair strands like this. Now again, the key is to make sure every strand gets coated from the root to the tip, so that you don't leave any strand prone to frizz. And same thing, you just apply, smooth, finger rake, kind of shake it like this, just to kind of like separate some of the clumped curls. So you see how, if you can zoom in, so you see this clumped section of curls? So what happens is, if you start to pick these apart and do it like that while it's wet, it's going to dry frizzy, okay? So what I like to do is, that's why I kind of gently shake them apart, just so they can naturally, the clumps can naturally separate and still have that definition. Now if you really have time, you can go ahead in each section and just kind of smooth each clump section like so. And we'll do the second of the third section here.
Wear a silk cap at night and put it right over the hair like that, then you should just be able to.
Yep, shake and go. We're smoothing it. take it out. And if you want to go ahead and do this, so you see where there's a gap here? That's where you would take the strand and to smooth them out. Just to kind of help separate the clumps, but not create the frizz. So we're going to go ahead and do the second section, and I'm going to show you one more trick after the product is all throughout the head. So we are completely finished applying the curl define products, and as you can see, super defined. Of course it's wet, but when it dries, if we don't plan it while it's wet, it will dry just like this. For those of you that might have, you know, looser curls or even heat damage in the front, where the curls are a little bit looser than the rest of the hair, I'm going to show you a quick trick to kind of just get that curl bouncy in the front. So we're just going to take some regular water and we're going to spray that section lightly. And what the spray is doing is kind of like loosening up the curl defining product so that we can scrunch it so it's not as stiff. The water kind of loosens it up a little bit. And that kind of just gives it a little bit more curl. Same thing on this side. And you can also do the water spray around the whole head. That water will kind of help loosen up the clumpiness if you want a little bit more fullness. But we're not going to do that for the rest of the head. And here are the results. Although the hair is still wet, they're super defined. See that curl definition? Some of the curls back here. This will dry just like this if she does not manipulate the hair while it's wet. We're going to let it air dry.
Can't wait for you to see it.
Okay, look in the mirror.
Oh.
You like it?
Yeah.
Now the key is you can't plan it while it's wet. It has to dry so that it can dry define like that. Okay?